Okay, another dot product question says for what values of k are vectors a and b perpendicular? So I have vector a, I have the components to it, and I have vector b, the components to it. Let's try to make sense of this in an equation. We know vector a dot vector b, or the dot product, is equal to what if they're perpendicular? 0. It's equal to 0 if they're perpendicular. We also know that a dot b is also equal to, in this case, because we're in 3 space, a1 times b1 plus a2 times b2 plus a3 times b3, correct? So what we're going to do here is we know that we can put this equation equal to 0. So in the end, this will be equal to 0, and we'll do -1 times -3 times 3, not -3, I lied. 3 times k, which is 3k, plus -4 times -2 is going to be equal to 0. That's how we've pieced this together. So we're then going to get -3 plus 3k plus 8 is equal to 0. 3k is going to be equal to -5. K equals -5 over 3. No one's screaming in outrage? Good. We're going to the next one. Exact same idea, but in this question, vector A has a different value. M, and, whoops, we said K in our question, so K. Oh, that was almost one too many. K, and -3. And vector B will be k, -3, and 6. Okay? Same idea, solving this question for k instead. So, same rules as before. It's perpendicular, so we know it's going to be equal to 0. And we're going to multiply our values. So we get k squared plus k times -3, which will give us -3k. Oh, okay. And we'll get -3 times 6 is going to give us -18. Okay. Now this is why I talked about factoring. We have a trinomial here. Okay. So this is, if we were to graph something like this, it would be a quadratic equation. We need to factor to find out what values of k could equal 0 in this case. So when I do factoring, this is what we do. I find the factors of the first term, which are 1k and 1k. Factors of the last term, so 1, 18, 2, 9, 3, 6. And I know that they're products, so when I multiply them together, they need to add up to my middle term, -3k. Okay. When I quickly look at that, I know that this column times this column will give me that, which is 3k and 6k. I know that if I make the 6 negative, in other words, that 6, I'll get -3k. So when I go to put these in, my first terms are 1k and 1k, or just k and k. And my second terms are +3, because this is a positive, and -6. So +3, -6 is equal to 0. We then split this. K plus 3 equals 0. K minus 6 is 0. K is either -3 or +6. You can test it out by plugging it back in. You'll get your answer. That's why we need to remember factoring from grade 10.